Hey guys, sup, Ryu here for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council, and you're watching Top 5 Countdown. Welcome back to the Countdown series if you're a subscriber. It's been a little while. This is the top 5 meta choices for the April 2014 format. Now, honestly, since you clicked on this video, you should know what the first one is. It's going to be Morels, and they're coming at number 5. Everyone's going to have a position. Sounds kind of kinky and weird. But before we go straight into the reason why this is at number 5, keep in mind that all the decks shown throughout the video will be example decks. Doesn't mean it's going to be actual deck profiles. They're just examples. Some of them have been deck profiles, and some of them we're actually happy with. Some of them are just a little outdated because DevPro hasn't gotten everything yet. We haven't messed around with it. So keep that in mind. Thank you. Okay, so why are Morels number 5 if Abyss Guns has been limited down to 1? Wouldn't that hurt them, Ryu? That's true, but Morels are just notorious for constantly coming back and doing things. They're the deck that basically constantly floats. Now, in the TCG, we may not see them nearly as much as we normally would. People think they're dead, and people thought Infernies were dead, but Infernies just got like top 32 a week ago, so that's something. Just saying. Alright, so that's not a legitimate reason to say why Morels are number 5. They're still pretty much one of the best meta decks that you can choose to run when it comes to Primal Origins and what comes after. They have the flexibility with the extra deck, they have the speed, they have the power, they can even run Morel artifacts. If you want to run like defenseless and try to make that a thing, go ahead, be my guest. I think it could be a thing, but who knows. But I'm looking for now and the future. I think Morels would be a great choice at number 5, and I can't really see anything else that's meta-wise that is basically going to say, "Hey, I'm over here. I'm relevant. I'm relevant." So that's why Morels get the number 5 spot. But with that said, let's see what number 4 is. In at number 4 are going to be Poojins, because they have a deck toolbox that says, "I search things constantly because I have the greatest searcher known to man," until he gets Effect Failure Victor's Guild. Just saying. They also have Tenki that allows them to search even more, and Kaiser Coliseum as a main deck option to basically say, "You're going to run my way, and it's going to be one monster at a time." Now, remember, these are just examples. What you're going to see here. They have the protection. They have the protection from destruction, targeting. They have the back row poppage, they have the monster poppage, they have the battle protection. It's all great and dandy. They're a great deck, without question. But what keeps them down is the consistency and kind of reliant on Yamato. And the reason I say kind of reliant, it's because you have to run the Boujin relics to actually do something with the actual Boujins themselves. Basically little Boujin animals, little pet land. You have to have them in there to be able to protect your real Poojins to do anything. It's kind of sad. I mean, not to sound that way, they're a great deck. They have a lot of toolbox options for when your stuff's banished or in your graveyard. Search power, control power, and just spam power. To me, they're a control deck, and that's what really defines a game when it is to the top 5 meta decks. It's going to be something that can control the game state. And Boujins are a fine example of control state when it comes to this game. They allow you to control the board, they allow you to make pushes when you want to make pushes, and they allow you to say no to your opponent. You can also just sit behind Yamato and Crane for days, and then basically just pick off your opponent's back row one card at a time. But with that said, let's move on to number 3 and see what starts really going nuts at number 3. In at number 3, cue the Lost Woods music, my good boy. Okay, that's enough of that. We have Sylvans. Now, why are Sylvans at number 3? When we could have probably put, I don't know, Scraps or Stun or just whatever here. The reason Sylvans come in at number 3 is because they're spam fest and consistency. Given with the Sylvan Charity and now the new Kari Bandits, who's not on Dev Pro as of yet, so I can't display him, and the possibility of even running Mathematician, I believe I got the name right, They get a huge power boost between now and post-Primal Origins. So they're just one of the little tiny bits of archetypes that go, we got more power, we're going to take over the world, because we're plants. Plants, we're going to affect everything. And that's why they're going to easily come in at number 3, because of their spam power. I mean, the constant usage of Lone Fire Blossom with Miracle Fertilizer is just dumb. I mean, Miracle Fertilizer was never really an issue till now, but hey, what are you going to do? We're gonna overcome these trees. Now keep in mind they can also basically say, I'm gonna look at the top card of my deck, I'm gonna use like Archfiend's Oath and then just laugh at you. So there's different ways to approach this deck when it comes to building it. But it's also one of the great weaknesses is because you know what's coming up next. You know what to basically be ready to counter. Doesn't mean you're always gonna have the answers. That's why this deck comes in at number 3. Let's see what came out at number 2. In at number 2 is the cutesy wootsy food archetype known as Madolche. Because of the new card Angelia that comes out of Primal Origins, they get a massive power boost and just, well, they laugh at most of your counters. They have a themed Stratos, well, kind of like 2, 3, 4 of them. They also have a special summoner, like 2, 3 of them. And they can basically just laugh at your plays. They can run different variants of Madolches left and right. The typical just Madolches, the typical TG Madolches, Psychic Madolches, hell, even Artifact Madolches. Regardless the way you look at the deck, this is going to be a top contender. And that's why it makes a cut at number 2. But why is it not number 1, Ryu? Why is Madolches not number 1? Well, I'm about to show you because, well, you'll see. Here we go. Number 1. The number 1 choice is artifacts. Some of you may not agree with that because you think Madolches will work better. I understand that. It's fine. The reason I chose artifacts number 1 is because of the simple fact that the splash ability is through the roof. They make decks like Agents and even Madolche more powerful than they already were. They are defensive while still being offensive of a deck. They force us to use Breakthrough Skill in our main decks now. Now also keep in mind all these decks are being shown are just examples of the decks because I didn't want to do like Google image searches. No disrespect to anyone, I just didn't. So keep in mind on that. The deck is going to be pretty much everywhere. You can throw them in anything. They're more splashable than Dragon Rulers, and that's a scary thing to think about. Now we know we had almost 3 formats of Dragon Rulers, and that's something to reflect on, how strong that probably artifacts will be. Now, they make things like Palladius go up in price. That should tell you right now that this is going to be a threat of a deck. If you take this lightly, they're not overhyped, trust me. I mean, this is the reason we can't run Fiendish Chain. Double Cyclone becomes a thing. They have like 8 MSTs and Sun that specials themselves off. And if you're not running artifacts, you could just splash them in. And if you're not running artifacts or splashing them in, you run Madolche. If you don't run Madolche, well, you can run one of the other 5 decks on the list or that I mentioned. Just saying. These guys are going to be everywhere, so be prepared for the artifact movement. Yeah, it's kind of a pun, I know. Now, what makes them truly powerful is the fact that the blue guy, yes, I call him the blue guy, allows you to pop any card on the field, well, any monster. And the Reaper, that comes as a sneak peek card, allows you to basically shut off your opponent's extra deck. Let's take a minute and just think about that. So that means that 2 of the bad matchups that these guys could possibly have, being Madolche and Evil Swarm, just kind of, they got out to them. A main deck out that basically when it gets MST, its effect goes off, or they MST, it goes off. So remember, that's something to keep in mind. If you guys like what you see and you want to see more top 5, then leave it in the comments below and I will bring you more top 5 countdowns. I'm ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. Make sure to check out all the uploads we have on the channel as much as you can because it just helps the channel. And you may have missed something that, well, you requested because we take requests every day of the week. Anything you got that you want to see, throw it at us and we'll let you know if we'll do it. Most likely we will because we're cool like that. So if you guys like what you see, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more. Catch you next video. Peace.